Welcome to Inspiration Radio, Growth Principles for Humanity and Progress. Join us when we share information, wisdom, and ideas how to create an extraordinary future for us all. The future is open. We together decide what will be in it. Welcome to another episode of Inspiration Radio. Today, it can be really touching. It can be emotional. It can be rage, and it's hope. I mainly wish that you feel the hope and get the understanding what we could achieve if we really want to. My guest today is Mully Dor, and he is an incredible person. He was a major and a project manager. He was as a director of a lot of different countries. He even went in politics, and he's living in Israel. He is an Israeli and is part of a huge support organization, help organization. It's incredible what they are doing. And they're working in 60 countries. And they created a project, they call it AJEEC, and that means also, we're coming to you, but in Arabic, but it's also the Arabic Jewish empowerment and equal for cooperation, or sometimes they say it's Arabic Jewish economic empowerment cooperation. And it's incredible what they do, helping people business-wise and everything. It's really incredible. Check the link out, go on the webpage also, and send them money. They live from donation, working in 60 countries on the planet and really helping at the bottom. Incredible work. So I'm very pleased now to give you some insights in what the work is and what they're doing, what challenges they have, and what are maybe the root cause of all the problems. And you give us also a solution, what we all can do to really work for world peace, for the paradise, because whatever happens in Israel or Ukraine and other war periods or in Africa, we are responsible as well, because we are co-creators. We allow it. What we tolerate will happen. So listen carefully, be touched, get new ideas for hope for the future, and maybe you find the way in your area to really work also for a better future. And now, listen. I'm so happy that we have a chance to talk, Mully Dor. Before we dive in a lot of the situations, the complex world you're living in, I know you're a father of 3 and have 9 grandchildren.
Yes,
So let's start with this. What do you see for them as future? They all live in Israel. And how do you see the future for them? Peace? Or will they be also the grandchildren when they're adults, the kind of always in the fighting process?
you know that my father and mother were survivors of the Second World War, and all their families were killed and murdered during the World War II. And when they came to Israel, I think that this generation was the unbelievable kind of brave generation, because they came out from this big trauma when they lost all their families, and they built a new society. And they used to tell me that they hope for a peaceful state, and that I will not go to the army, and my children will not go to the army, and so on. And during that time, they passed the Independence War and the 56 War, and then the 67 War, and the Yom Kippur War in 1973. And I personally participated in 1969. There was a kind of midterm war between Israel and Egypt. They called the attrition war. And in 73, the Yom Kippur War, and the Lebanon War, #1 and #2, and then all those small wars, intifadas between Israel and Palestine and Israel and Gaza Strip, with many what they call combats, not war combats, but it was sometimes 20, 30 days of rockets on us, on our cities. And I found out that not only my children, I have 3 children, not only my children, but my grandchildren already knows what it is, the meaning of sirens, and you know that they must go to shelters where there is what we call red color on the television, and they understand it also, and they feel it. So during all the time since I finished the army in the year 1972, since there we were striving for peace, and we are believing on it. And I call it a soldier for peace. During that time, although we passed many wars, and we still believe that we can reach peace, not with this government, but if there will be change in the government and the elections, if we will succeed to manage and to get elections, maybe there will be a new era, because we have now a new, although we passed a very strong crisis during the 7th of October, and many Israelis were killed. This is the biggest murder of Jews since the Independence War. About 1,300 people, civilians were killed. And it is the biggest loss of people, even bigger than in 73 when I participated in the war, of citizens. On that war in 73, 6,000 or 3,600 soldiers were killed from my generation. It was my generation. So sometimes people asking me, you are still striving for peace, although what you passed, and I say yes, because we do not have another hope for the future of our children and our grandchildren in this country. And the only solution that we have is not an army or a victory, powerful victory by the army, but to reach peace with our neighbors, with the Palestinians, and with all the Arab countries. So this was one of the reasons that I personally decided to found, together with Dr. Yehuda Paz, NISPED, the Negev Institute for Strategies. We call it Negev Institute for Strategies of Peace and Development, because we connect between peace and development, and we believe very much in people-to-people approach. And that was the main reason that we are founded, and we decided from the beginning to work in 3 circles: the international level, the Middle East level and with our Palestinians neighbors, and the Arab Jews conflict in Israel and the relationship with the poorest society of the Arab society in the Negev. So we are working till then in these three circles.
That sounds really good. The work you do together with all the people in your organization is incredible. When I was in Jerusalem and I talked with different interfaith organizations, I realized that, let's say, the normal people, like everybody wants to live in peace. But there was also a kind of always, can I really trust the other person? It's a lot of mistrust. And when just coming back to not your grandchildren's maybe because they have a connection to you, but a lot of kids now they need to go to the shelter or whatever and experience the war and the news. They are more about, I guess, also in Israel, more about war than about peace efforts. And there's a lot of trauma new created, and how to overcome the mistrust and how to really strengthen the belief, what you said, the hope we will make it, and that they can really trust and go for a different way of living together.
But the process of conflict resolution between us and Palestinians undoubtedly depends on and derives from what is generally termed the political peace process that involves the initiation and active engagement of government or the political institution. National and frequently international, both in the initial stage of conflict resolution and the ongoing basis. This is true of conflict between nations and between ethnic, religious, tribal, or social groups within one country. It is important to recognize, however, that government and political agreement, although carefully crafted and effectively underwritten, like Oslo agreement by international agencies or parties, cannot by themselves serve the creation and guarantees of lasting peace. Such such a how I say, you must consider and consist of more than carefully phrased documents. It must rest on more than formal agreement and political guarantees. And that's why we believe that peace will take root and flourish only in condition of growing mutual confidence, of deepening mutual understanding, and where there is effective cooperation between people. The conflict resolution must find a concrete and immediate expression in the economic and social realities of people's lives. And the achievement of all of this requires direct interaction between both sectors of society on both sides of the conflict. So for this to come about, the organizations and institutions today grouped under the heading of a civil society, that's what we believe, must become actively involved in the peace process. And that's what we are trying to do, and it requires development of a civil society and people-to-people peace process parallel to the political peace process carried out by government and political institution. This is the way that we believe that might be the right way to build peace. And when you are meeting people who do not say we do not believe the Arabs, they do not believe the Arabs because they don't know them. They don't speak Arabic. They don't have an interaction with Arabs. So what we are trying to do is to bring and this is the same thing from the Palestinian side, because only small part of them are exposed to Israelis in the good way. They are under occupation. They see soldiers. They cannot
If you
move
don't
back
have
to home.
contact, you easily label everybody. Now,
Yes.
like we see it now also here in Europe with the war in Russia and Ukraine. So suddenly every Russian is a bad person. So just
That's right.
it's crazy.
That's
In the
right.
business world, we have often the saying, okay, there's old business models, the old economy, and the young people are different and new models are coming. Would you say, and if you look at America and wherever was it, important governments, or if it's Russia, that it's more the old guys. Is this maybe all something they just try to protect an old way of thinking and living together, and that the kids, so let's say the new brains, the millennials or whoever will come and have a totally different idea how to live together?
I I very much hope for that, because the new generation is more open to the world, but they are open to the world through the internet. And
Mhm.
they have maybe I have friends in Facebook from all over the world. It is connected to my work, because we work in many countries, more than 60 countries all over the world. So I have many, and I can speak with someone in Sri Lanka or someone in Bangladesh immediately, and the world is open to everyone, more or less. Even in countries like China, or uh, we can connect and speak together, and it's open the world for the young generation. But still, it is not to feel it in everyday life. It's
Mhm.
more a kind of abstract. You are in connection with someone. Sometimes you can share feelings, you can share ideas, uh, but it's complex when you are speaking about the conflict between two societies that are in conflict, like the and the Arab countries. The Arab countries is less today, but the Palestinians. Every Israeli today who is speaking with this Israeli friend is Palestinians, and I have many Palestinian friends through all our initiatives. I may tell you some of the initiatives that we have done, and we have a lot of Palestinian friends. But today, sometimes it might be difficult and maybe even dangerous to speak together from both sides, because I might be blamed that I speaking with Palestinians, and what the suspicion under a conflict like this is rising very much up. But I'm optimistic about the young generation. I think that the young generation might find better ways to connect. Although in Israel, the situation today is that the young generation is more right-wing radical than the older generation. The older generation is more, we still believe in peace. The young generation, because of education, in Israel and in the Palestinian side are less willing to understand each other. And that's why we are investing a lot of efforts to bring together a young generation together to speak with each other.
Yeah, I think it's the only way that really to get to know each other. That we, when you're on talking or on the website, you have also often the word equality. It's not just we are all equal and we have different backgrounds or anything, but if I understand, especially with the different cultures, to see we are just the same, we are all one, and in this we are equal. Social media or internet, yes, it's wonderful to be connected through the world, but we see also the misuse for fake news, separation, and the governments love to, work with fear to manipulate people a lot. And I have the feeling also a little bit in Europe now, mainly in German, where I grew up, but even when I live now in Switzerland, 70 years of peace in this country, nobody really understands or has the experience of war besides some internet games, and easily to kill people in an internet game, but the the real war is something different. So they have no clue really what it is. And you said just you're working with your organization in 60 countries, and like those organizations who help, say there's two, if I think in polarities, two poles, just one just go there to help those in need, like you said, the Bedouins are the poorest of the poor, or whatever, or you go to Ukraine. Just is it more like really that just the worst thing can be avoided, or can you also in the other 59 countries, like for example, Ukraine, also help and support in direction peace and communication, or is it just more as help them to survive?
We are usually helping them to survive because we are coming up their crisis usually, and they need immediate help, and that's what we are trying to do. But our different approach than most of the humanitarian organization is that we are coming first and we stay as long as it needs. It means that when many, look at what happened in Ukraine. In Ukraine, many organizations, even from Israel, were in the first 3 months of the war, were supporting very much. But after that, they left. We are still there after 2 years. And same, we are helping them in needs like clear water in the eastern side of Ukraine, where they don't, although in Ukraine there is a lot of water, but there is no clear water sometimes in places like Mykolaiv and Kherson and places like this. And we are helping them with Israeli technologies to operate a clean water, to give post-trauma support. We are training the people in Ukraine how to use our technologies and our know-how. And we are still staying here, and we have now a program to stay there until the end of this year. In Cameroon, for example, we came in 3 years ago because in the sub-Saharan Africa there are 18 million refugees. People have fled their homes and become refugees due to the conflict to the conflict, natural disasters, and climate change, and there are 26% of the world refugees today. So we came in Cameroon, and we found out that most of the refugees live in host communities, sharing services and resources. And we we operated a project which called Community Prosper Together, and giving livelihood support, community resilience, and bringing them Israeli innovation. In East Cameroon, in a community in transition, and it's a joint communities. 40% of the people who participate in our projects are refugees. And you have a difference of culture, faith, and language between the groups, and alongside this lack of infrastructures and services and dependency on substance agricultural. So we are trying, and we are already 3 years there, to build a shared future for the refugees and the host community. And actually, our joint project in Cameroon is based on best practices in peace building and community development from Israel. So that's the model that we are doing alongside all in the last 20 years. We have done also livelihood support and community resilience also with Palestinians. Palestinians, this Cameroon is one of the projects that is international kind of example, but in the Middle East, with our Palestinians neighbors, we support the development of the Palestinian agricultural corps in the West Bank and in Gaza until Hamas came there. Until then, we worked with them. We had we formed the Palestinian-Israeli Peace NGO Forum of civil society to promote peace, tolerance, and non-violence in the Middle East. We had a project called Partner in Business, Partners in Peace, which is increasing the capacities for Israeli-Palestinians business cooperation. Gender co-empowerment and project milk product and handicraft, kind of projects that are tracking in the Palestinian side. We had a project of good water neighbors, building foundations for peace through education and practical action that promote just and efficient management of transborder water resources. Fair trade, fair peace export of product for West Bank and Gaza. We helped the strawberries growers in Gaza before Hamas came to export their product to Europe. Breaking the cycle of alienation and coexist through education, and a lot of other solutions and projects, like a solution for electronic waste disposal affecting Palestinians and Israelis.
As much as I love what you're sharing and how you're supporting, and I guess your background as a manager helps really to organize it well. We easily from the outside just see the surface, but there's a long history in these countries, and somehow it feels really kind of strange and crazy that now Israelis help the Palestine, and I even can guess if some Palestine people going in say in a connection with you, maybe they get even pressure from other Palestinians, no, we want to have the separation. But from the outside, there's so many rich Arabics, Muslim countries. Okay, Saudi Arabia was close to make a kind of peace treaty, but in the past, Kuwait and all these oil countries have so much money. Why didn't they help really?
It's a good question. And we were trying also to deal with it by building what we call network for peace between all the countries in the Middle East, not only with the Palestinians.
Yeah.
This project we have done together with the Palestinians, our Palestinian friends, and with the help of the EU. It was a project of 2 years, and we built a network of academic people from the civil societies in Saudi Arabia, in Iraq, in even Syria, Palestinians from Egypt up to Morocco, from all over about 300 people. Most of them academic people, most of them are civil society leaders, some of them are political leaders, and we used to meet every 3 months together in Amman, in Turkey, places not in Israel, because it was difficult for them to come. And we call it there is the Arab Peace Initiative, the support of the Arab Peace Initiative, and we built an organization in Israel to support the Arab Peace Initiative. We believe in it very much, and we think that if there will be a government who is really want peace in Israel, they should adopt this program, because this program is solving the Palestinian problem, and the Arab countries, the rich Arab countries, are ready to participate, but they demand that the Palestinian problem will be solved. So usually we thought that this is the main reason that they are not involving in projects like that more. They can support, from our point of view, we think that they can support more the Palestinian side, although you can see what happened when Qatar pushed money into Gaza, and all the money, because it is Hamas, it's not the PLO, it's not the Palestinian Authority. All this money was for arms and for digging tunnels and to fight against Israel, and not for the survival of the people in Gaza, obviously. Didn't get any of this money. All this money went on cement and weapons and so on. So it is depend who is the Saudi Arabians, and we have very good connection with the Saudi Arabians, and even with people from Syria and Lebanon and all the countries that are not in peace with Israel. We have, of course, good connection with
connection with, let's say, normal people, or is it government? Because
no, it's not government.
Still that's the real point. This all happened. I can see historically there was always a king, and he misused his people. He sent the soldiers, and I don't care if they die. Just for my ideas, it could be country, it could be water, but it could be about a woman. I don't care what my people die for. And somehow it's, when you say with Qatar and Hamas, somehow say, just let's fight Israel and we don't care about our own people. Just before you had all these ideas of supporting, the West Bank could, I believe, theoretically flourish because of whatever oil money. Yeah, pour it in, make a kind of Marshall Plan, the Arab countries, but that never did it really. Is it just different religions, or is it just let's all let them suffer, but we are against Israel? Because in Iraq also there is the different Muslims in fighting themselves.
Yes. It is a tragedy of the Muslim countries. And I think that there is a recognition of it now in the last years, because many countries from the Muslim world, uh, they uh, they began to have connection and even peace agreement, the Abraham Accord agreements with Israel. And what we hear from them is that they are very fatigued of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, because they think that the Palestinians by themselves didn't do enough for peace. They have a chance to do it in Camp David, and they have a chance to do it a few times, and they didn't. The political leadership. Uh, there is a since Oslo, there is a big change, because part, at least, of the Palestinian authority of the Palestinian people believe now in peace with Israel. The tragedy is that we do not find a partner in the Israeli side, because the Israeli society became more and more radical from right to the right. Since I was personally, I was working with the Rabin from the years 1992 to 95, and we believed then that it was a start for peace, the Oslo Agreement. But both sides are fought from one side, and the fact that Hamas took over on Gaza, and Hamas don't believe in peace. They say very directly they don't want peace. They want the destruction of the state of Israel. So we don't have anything to talk with them, no understanding with them. Personally, I don't understand the people who tell themselves they are peace supporters in United States or in Europe, say one state from Jordan River to the sea. They mean one state, one Arabic state.
Yeah.
Yes, without not a Jewish state. And our fanatic radical, crazy people are saying the same. One state from Jordan River to the sea, but without Arabs.
Yeah.
So the two radical sides are cooperating. And we are in the middle, the center, the peaceful people are suffering of this radicalism. So the Arab state, it is a very good question for them, but I think from what we heard, that if there will be a solution for the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, they will support. They say all the time that they don't want to support if there is no solution. And now, if you are looking at the situation now, there is really, really a good opportunity for peace in the current situation in Israel. On one end, it is very sad and frustrating that every day we hear about soldiers who were killed in Gaza, and there are hostages in Gaza, including old people, women, and babies. And the government we think that the government should priority on the release of the hostages. They do not do it enough. And we are very angry with the Prime Minister, who does not care much about the hostages. But we believe that a viable future for Gaza, which is the main conflict now, is by the overreaching objective of preventing the power vacuum, taking out Hamas from there, and not a long-term Israeli occupation. And there is a need for a plan for a multi-year post-war interim phase of Gaza, facilitated by United States, as Biden suggested, led by the international and regional coalition, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf state, and Israel and the Palestinian Authority. And we believe that interim phase would prioritize restoring public security and humanitarian relief, establishing an interim administration, and creating of, administration, political, economic, and security authorities.
Just imagine there would be peace. How could a small country then like Gaza or this little strip, Gaza, really survive and flourish economically? It needs cooperation or trade with Israel or other countries, because on itself it couldn't really survive.
It cannot survive by itself. It needs help. And there is an opportunity because Saudi Arabia is going with the initiative of President Biden of giving support. And it is also the interest of Egypt, because Egypt don't want the Palestinians to go into Egypt. So the outside circle of Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf countries have interest that the situation, the economic situation, will flourish in Gaza and in the West Bank, putting aside Hamas, because they do not want, they are radical than us about Hamas, because they're afraid that Hamas will bring the Muslim radical
into Egypt.
Into Egypt or into Jordan or into the Gulf state or into Saudi Arabia. So they don't want them. So if Hamas will not be in the picture, then there might be a flourish. You know, a lot of people from Gaza were working in Israel before the war started, and their income was 10 times the regular income that was in Gaza. So and for Israelis today, because there are no Arab workers coming from the West Bank into Israel, because the government of Israel decided not to let them in, and no workers from Gaza is coming in. All the construction side of our economy is on freeze. It's on freeze. There is no building new apartment, new houses in Israel, and it is a big disaster in the construction. So we have relationship, we have economic relationship of dependence between the two societies, and the economy, the society, it is a kind of what we call the two economies that adapt to each other and complete each other, because the standard of living in Gaza is so low. It's and our standard of living, our GDP is about $50,000, and their GDP is $1,000. So there is
that is a big difference. Another thought or another question. Years ago, we used Israel as an example for a role model for democracy, because there was a phase, at least, where really mixed cultures, Arabs, Muslims, Israel, could really vote together for the government is really a role model. This role model of democracy, is this maybe also a reason that the more dictatorship thinking Arab countries don't like Israel? Because it's also a danger for their countries.
Uh-huh. Yes, Israel is a still role model for democracy, and you can see it from the strength of the civil society in Israel. Actually, there were a trial by the government to make a kind of evolution in our democratic system.
Mm.
They in the last year, since January 23, they tried to overcome the democratic constitution and the democratic role of the judiciary system, and to make it more and more dictatorship kind of. And
Mm.
what happened?
Yeah.
Civil society went to the streets, and actually it prevented this kind of dictatorship trial, and we still democracy, but there is a lot of dangerous situation in Israel, because we used to say all the time that we are a democratic or Jewish state.
Mm.
But because of this radical right-wing Orthodox religious government, it more today, the government is more in favor of Jewish than in favor of democratic state.
Mm. Mm.
So we must stay on alert, and the democratic system in Israel is under danger, very severe danger. And we hope that's why we demand election now.
Yeah.
We demand election now because if we will have election now, we will change the situation, and we will bring back Israel as a role model for democracy.
You believe now, when a kind of war situation is, most votes would go more for democracy and not for separation and the hardline?
No, there is many people in Israel are looking for revenge, and many people believe on feel anti-Arabic feelings due to the massacre of 7th of October. But still, most of the people, according to all the polls, do not believe the government at all. And if there will be election now, due to the failure of the government in the giving them the Bibi Netanyahu was prime minister, say all the time that he is going to give the people of Israel confidence, security. What was the main things? Security for Israel. I will secure Israel. And it failed completely. And people today see that they cannot be even services, and you must understand that we have today more than 200,000 refugees inside Israel. People are not living in the north. They left their homes in the north border of Lebanon because of Hezbollah, and people left their homes and their cooperative farms and the kibbutzim and moshavim in the south of Israel, and they are living in hotels and some other places. We have an inner problem of refugees in Israel. That's why by faith that we are working today more in Israel on the humanitarian side. We are supporting those people.
Yeah, you can imagine again, it was my question at the beginning, how kids grow up, and also those kids also, what do they learn? And we create the enemy for the system, society, already by ourselves. And
Yes,
that's
definitely.
what I can see here in the West, in Europe as well. Mm. Um, how do you see the what to say the role of the media? Because you do so incredible work helping everywhere, but for me, when years ago had the idea to take a look at Jerusalem interface organizations, I said, wow, how much is going on there? Why don't nobody knows about it? Partly, I realized also some wanted to be in a little bit more behind the curtain because then on the political level they could work, but the work you are doing from, let's say, kindergarten, kids and everything is supporting, it should be so much more known. And when we talk here about, or you use the word hope and we go for peace, um, at least here in it was a German-speaking area, I see mainly it's just the media are more for their own interest and really showing what's really going on.
You are showing a very important item. We are not, we fail in this field, I think, of communication and public communication. We didn't succeed to bring out enough good work that we are doing. Uh, Sometimes I found that we are more popular in communities around the world that knows about our activities than in Israel. But
Well, the profit in their own country is always a problem. Yeah, yeah.
yes, yes, and the Israeli media was not concerned about good examples of Jewish Arabic share life. When I'm telling people in Israel what we are doing with the Bedouin community in the south, immediately they are telling me, and you are not afraid to walk there, and because they are stealing cars, and there is violence and so on, and you you find yourself that you are explaining the basic facts about the population in such places. I'm asking them, do you know that about 80,000 Arab Bedouins are living without water, without schools, without electricity, without roads? Do you know that? And they do not know the facts about it.
Mhm.
And we are trying now to bring more and more facts and news about what we are doing in the Arab society and with the Arab society, because we believe in shared society. We believe in shared Jewish and Arabic life. But the newspaper usually is telling about a murder, and there is a growing violence in the Arab societies. And they usually hear about the violence because the government is not dealing with the roots for that violence. We are
Mhm. Yeah.
trying to work with the young generation in the Arab villages, but the government is not doing it. So, and there is a very, very direct connection. If you are not, I will give you only one example. When a young Arabic finish high school at the age of 18 in Israel, I'm speaking
Yeah.
different, he,
Yeah.
he like a Jewish guy who finished the high school. Jewish guys are going to academic, to universities, and only 10 to 15% of the Arabs enter into universities.
Mhm.
And only it is very difficult for them to find out good jobs and work, high-tech and so on, because they do not have the capacities to do them. So what, in every year, 35,000 young children finished high school in the Arab society. And most of them are without any opportunities for the future. So the best opportunity they have for easy money is to go to crime.
Mhm.
And then is the going the cycle of violence inside the. So what we are doing, we have a special program for that. We are taking every year about 1,500 youngsters like that. We call it the transition year, and we are taking care of them for 1 year. And after they finish the transition year, 80% of them are entering into university, and the rest of them are going to work.
Yeah.
Even the former government looked at it and they told, look, this project is a kind of solution for the Arab society and preventing crime. But in general, the government changed. And they do not believe in a shared society, and they do not believe in projects like this. Although those projects is in favor of the whole society of Israel.
No, I guess it's just a problem in general with governments or the political leaders. I just spent 4 months in South Africa, and we had Mandela there, and he was really a leader for the country, and they said it was the Rainbow Nations. If I look at Singapore, the guy who built Singapore, wow, he could stick with principles and was really working for it. The main politicians I see today is there's so much more in their own power game involved and not really strongly working for the people. So in this case, we're missing the leaders. And if you go on archetypes, even if the king is really missing, a good king is missing, then the magician takes over, and it can be a white or a black one. And this role is now taken by the media. So they play their game. How we can sell more of this? We can sell newspapers, okay, or ever news. And it's really thing. So it's very good to hear that you are full of hope. And besides all the problems you're facing every day, and we are close to war, you're also close to the young people or those who working. You're a huge organization of people who are thinking in hope. So what, also for the listener and viewer, what is the key point to focus on that we all come closer to peace?
We believe that the conflict resolution, first of all, it is, if we are looking about what happened in Ireland, in the end, it was a political decision. It was a political, without the political decision to reach peace, although we are doing wonderful work on the field, and people to people and everything, but without a political decision to go into peace, nothing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And what we are telling today to the young generation in Israel, because we had wonderful, wonderful people, and we saw it lately, the war, during the war, the government was not there. The government officers were not there. And the civil society people from high-tech and from all levels of society was doing the job. So, but until lately, they were not in politics because they consider politics as something that is not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
People are going, the good talented people are going to high-tech. We are very good in high-tech. We
Yeah.
are a high-tech nation. and we have a lot of achievement. But if the good people are not going to politics, the change will not come.
Yes.
So now many people begin to understand it. And we saw it lately, by the way, last week, there was a municipal election in Israel. Because of the war, it used to be on November, was postponed up to last week. And many young people understood that and entered into the municipal level, which is very, very important because
Yeah.
actually the municipalities have done the work of the government. The government failed completely, and the municipal level authorities all over Israel have done this work of supporting the people, the refugees inside Israel, together with civil organizations like us. Uh, and now, in many cities, especially in the big cities in Israel, young people are there. And I hope that this is the beginning of understanding that they must be involved in the political level. I myself, I can tell you that I entered into politics in 1973 after the second Yom Kippur War because we lost faith on the old leadership and we said, look, we cannot stay only on university and so on. We must go into politics. And on that time, I entered into politics. So I believe that the young generation that until now didn't want any connection with politics must do it. He must do it in Israel, he must do it in Europe, he must do it in the United States. And that might do the change because without political agreement, like Oslo could have done a big success. There was an agreement, but the government that they came after 96, when Shimon Peres lost the election after Rabin was killed, murdered, could have done a very good job into a peace process, but the right wing who do not believe in peace came into power, and since they are most of the years they are in power, and they do not believe in peace. And they say the people, and they are telling the people, we do not vote for us because we do not believe in peace.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they guess a big misunderstanding what peace is, because I guess most people think peace is when I don't need to do something. Yeah, don't leave me alone. Martin Luther King says, if you really want the peace, you have to organize it as powerful as the others are organizing war. And nothing happens by accident, so you need to really work on the principles. But what do you say with the governments and the young people? I see it also here, especially in Germany. We have, because I'm German, have most insight. We have a lot of people in the government and the parliament who have never really been out in real life, were entrepreneurs and everything. They went to school in party organizations and discussed themselves to the top jobs, and now they're running countries and making decisions and have no clue really what they're doing. And the millennials maybe are in this way easy on the wrong track and says, I don't like this, so I turn away. Yeah, I don't care what they are doing. I travel around the world. I'm a whatever nerd, the normal digital nomads or whatever. But we will face it all if we're not taking the self-responsibility. So a little bit like Kennedy said, we just don't ask always what the country can do for you. So just what kind of
you can do
for the country. And like you said, I believe really on the local level is a good chance to start to do something. Because if all the cities were ruled different, then the top government
Yes,
couldn't play the game they are playing now.
yes, that's right. That's right.
So the clue is really to wake up, to understand that good life for us all. And I'm using the word paradise because what I learned with paradise is the word paradise came from the nice, beautiful gardens in the desert they created once. It's not just here's like I have nothing to do. I just need to lay under the tree. No, they created paradise, but they needed to work on the
Yeah.
paradise. Yeah, so paradise needs really the
Hard work, hard
responsibility,
work.
yeah, for it. So getting an understanding of really being self-responsible also for what is in the world, or what Gandhi might say, the change you want to see in the world, you have to be and work for it. And if we understand more quantum physics, what are we thinking? If we're thinking war, we get war. If we're thinking peace, and then really the deep intention is peace, it will happen. If more people really join you in the hope, and not only the work, but everybody can believe in peace. That's a start. Yeah.
I can tell you that we we are very much connected to the social democratic parties,
Mhm.
Israel, Europe, and in the United States, the democratic parties, and we consider them as our friends, and we share the same values. But on the other side, lately we found out that there is a huge ignorance
Yeah.
about what happened even lately on the 7th of October.
Yeah.
Look, it was such a massacre, and I commemorate usually my words in such interviews like this to Vivian Silver, who was our CEO, former CEO of AJEEC-NISPED, and she was a member of our board in AJEEC-NISPED. And she was a peace activist. And she was every week taking healed persons from Gaza to hospitals in Israel. And she believed in all her heart on peace. And she was murdered in her kibbutz.
Mhm.
Most of these kibbutz members were also peace living and peace activists, and they were murdered by people from Hamas who do not believe in peace, who want only to kill the Jewish people. Nevertheless, who they are, Vivian Silver believe in two-state solution and giving back all the occupied territories and building bridges between Gaza and Israel. And they murdered them.
Mhm.
And they murdered her. I ask my friends from the Social Democratic Party and from the left, how you can support Hamas? It is okay that you are criticizing Israel for the occupation. And I identify even with your critique about the occupation. We are fighting against occupation in Israel. But it's one thing to support the peace, the Palestinian Authority, who have an agreement with Israel, and it is a second story to support Hamas, who is jihadist, ISIS kind of organization, murderers organization who do not believe in peace. And you say that you are believing in peace, and you are supporting an organization that is not supporting peace at all. So
Yes.
that's
Okay.
I could not understand.
Cowardness is not peace, huh? That's always fighting back. But we have it in a lot of areas. They have also the opinion, like if you just see a company, oh, hand over, we don't need a boss, hand it over to the employees, and then the the company is gone, no? Because, but that's if it's one part is the ignorance, but it's not just the ignorance of a war or a situation there. I think it's partly an ignorance of really life principles in general. It's just an ideology, and now we need to say that, and has no really background in reality. And then you can see, like Germany also, when I mention it again, everybody says it's a rich country, but we have also 5 million kids who are poor. We have so many poor people, unemployed people. So I can't really believe that the government is doing a good job if we have those situations. And now with the Ukraine war, we have more discussion even than with Israel. How, yeah, somehow cowardness is how to support or not to support or whatever. And by this, be part of killing so many people.
Well, I must tell you that I'm very concerned about the rise up of the right-wing radical Nazi groups in Germany. The family of my father left Germany in 1933 when
Yeah.
the Nazis came into power. My father was born in Germany, and they left the country because they saw that they have Jews, they cannot live in Germany. And today, to find out there is a young generation in Germany who do not, as you say, do not know what is the World War II and what happened and what kind of destruction and death came on the German people because of people like that. And they are supporting people like that.
Yeah.
And they have a growing my father was born in Nordhausen in Germany. And Nordhausen today is governed by Nazis coalition. They won the election, the municipal election there.
Yeah.
So it is very, very problematic in Germany.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm born after the war, so when I grew up with all this, and we need to say obey for Israel, or what did we do? I said I didn't do it, so I have nothing to do it, and it will never happen again. We really believed it will never happen again, but if you just simply see what happened in COVID at the time, we suddenly there are two parties, and it's like, oh, now I got it, how fast you can switch the mindset. And we had it somehow, maybe it was not really Nazi time, but it's the same behavior that you can be against someone, vaccination, no vaccination, and you're a murderer, and we need to go in prison. It was crazy how fast it can go. And that's why we always say, so be careful in the beginning. Yeah? Just if it is hard to turn around. Yeah. So we're coming back to the young people understanding what they are responsible for not the separation. Yeah. And one part, the ignorance is what he said, ignoring what has happened, but it's just on one level of reality. But in the end, it doesn't matter if Israel is winning and Hamas is losing, or Hamas is losing, or winning, or Israel is losing. We're still in the win-lose game. Yeah. And what you are working on is, let's go on the next level, yeah, where we all together can have peace. And that is needs a different worldview, thinking, awareness, consciousness, what it is. Otherwise, we still in the trap of playing win-lose or even lose-lose. Yeah.
Lose-lose
Yeah. So how to create win-win? Yes, and when you said, okay, Ukraine, nobody mentioned us, we help them to survive, like the Maslow pyramid. Okay, we need to do the first thing that they can survive and exist, but then we need really more education for how can we live together.
Is the key. Education is the key.
Yeah. So when you have your kindergarten and you don't call it kindergarten, I guess, but the project with the kids, um, how you or have you something in there what we could call as a kind of training awareness or for win-win, because the living together is a more we world, not the I world or me world.
I think the key word is cooperation. I mean, I will give you an example. There is very poor villages, villages in the Arab community, in the Bedouin community. And one philanthropic organization came and asked the people there, what do you want us to do for the kids?
Mm-hmm.
And they say, we need a kind of a playground for the kids. So they brought the most sophisticated playground, and they put the playground on the ground, and after 2 weeks, nothing was there. They
Mm-hmm.
destroyed it completely.
Mm-hmm.
So we came to that philanthropic organization and we told them, look, this is not the right way to do it. You must see how we are doing it. Give us the resources to do it, and we show them, we show you how to do it.
Yeah.
What we have done, we came to the leader of these villages and we told them, we want to build a playground together, not this exactly, this other village. We want to build a playground together with you. Please give us a group of fathers who have children who will play in that
Mm-hmm.
playground, gather
Mm-hmm.
all of them. It was a group of about 60, 70 people. And we told them, look, we want to build a playground, but we want to do it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Please let us know what you need and how you want to put it. And they were part of the process from the first stage. And they planned it together with us. And they told us where to put it. And they said, this, you should do this and do this and so on. And we just were helping them to build it.
Yes.
This playground exists even about 7, 8 years ago. It exists until today. And we show the philanthropic organization that how to build, because if you are doing it with community, coming from the needs, the basic needs of communities, you identify the needs of the community. And from the beginning, you are working on the same level with the people, not from above, not giving them money to do something, but to build it, everything, every project that we are doing it together with the people who need this project. We are not giving it to them, we are building it from the community level, and this is the main way for success in this
Yes.
project. We are doing it with kindergarten. We are doing it in elementary school. We have today a community of 9,000 youngsters, Bedouin youngsters. We call it Shabiba. It's a youth movement. But we are teaching them from the beginning in the ages of 11, 12 up to the age of 18 to how to operate projects and how to build their life and how to be involved in the community and how to build the future and how to see for themselves hope in the society. And this is making the big change. in the
Yeah,
community.
well, it's great. They always said if you want to feed one for a day, give him a fish. If you feed for the lifetime, train him, teach him fishing. But it's also you involve them. They're emotionally involved in the project, have a deeper understanding. And that is a big problem, I guess, also in the Western world. The kids today, they get so much for free. Grandma is giving the iPhone and everything. There is an entitlement today, and they're not really involved. They get whatever, 100 presents for Christmas, open one after the other, and then ignore it again. So it's really also what is life, what it's all about, really, and it's about this involvement. It's about the connections and really go for living and not for killing. Yeah, it's just so great. I could talk with you for hours just because putting in the hope energy and the good work you're doing. But I know also your time is really, your calendar is really filled because you work on so many different projects in this complex world. And I'm really grateful that you took the time that we could talk about and give us so much hope and that we learn out of it. Just uh, be with the feet on the ground, connection, be responsible, feel responsible what's going on in your area and take part of it and think peace. Always, whatever
And
happened,
think
think
peace and have hope. Without hope to do
yes,
things, there is no change.
yes,
So we believe that if people will have the reason for hope, there will be a change in our life.
yes, yeah. Especially if I see that people can have hope in so stressy situations, then we who often live here in a more secure or Disneyland atmosphere, we should at least do this task and really think, have the intention for world peace, or if I use the term of Mandela, he created the rainbow nation. Let's have a rainbow planet.
We
Um,
work with him, by the way.
yeah,
Our organization, we are working in South Africa until the last 3 years when, the relationship between Israel and South Africa became worse. But from the beginning, we were working with the ANC leaders. They were coming to Israel to train themselves, and we had a very good connection, and we also found some project in South Africa. uh, Natal and so on, some regions in South Africa. And it's a pity that today South Africa is became so anti-Israeli.
yeah, strange. Yeah, but uh, depends on which game they are now in the political, if it's a BRICS, whatever states, what they're going for. But the hope that is planting in the kids is in so many areas in so many countries, like I said, 60 countries at least. You're planting something, and I hope in this way also that these plants there will one day have super fruits and have a huge ripple effect. At least I will share more about your work and follow up. It's because we're very impressed what you manage all like 60 countries, projects, and everything.
And
And
please tell your friends in Europe that we have projects that can help to solve the refugees problem that is so problematic in Europe, in Africa. We
mhm,
have the right way how to do it in Africa,
yes,
prevent
yes,
them to evacuate and to go and to danger themselves in the
yeah,
in
mhm,
in the sea between Africa and Europe. So many people were dying there, and if there will be the right projects inside Africa, they will stay. Although the climate change is very dangerous for them, still there is a way. If you are using, for example, water on the right way, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
still exist and live well with agriculture in Africa, and not sending yourself to Europe. So Europe, I know that Europe is investing a lot of money in Africa, but I'm not sure that they are doing it
I guess you are sure.
the right way.
That's like you said, since you need to involve the people, and if you just give it to a corrupt
Government.
government, it's never reaching the
Yes.
people really there. Yes, but what you said with looking at also at Africa, where the problem is, it's the same with the body. We're living in a world where you study medicine and you learn to treat the symptoms and not the root cause, and that is a general thing that we have a different understanding where it's really coming from and what we need to change there. Yeah. And that's why I admire what you do. You go there really, what is the root cause, and working there. And from there, even if you say we get only peace from the government top down, but you're working also bottom up. And,
Yes.
yeah. And that is really incredible. And I believe, I wrote a book, The Best Is Yet to Come. I believe strongly that we will have good times. It's just about how stupid we are in between, how much blood is. We have enough money, we have enough food for everybody. We just should think different. And like Einstein said, those who created the problem, they can't solve the problem. It needs a different awareness, a different mindset to solve it. But then we are closer to paradise.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Mully Dor,
you.
for
Thank
working
you.
on it.
Thank you, Wolfgang.
Yes, and I'm really happy to have this talk with you, and I will share your message. Thank
Okay.
you.
Goodbye. Thank you both.